We are in the mattress today. Summer is ending. Fall is in the air. Taylor Swift is engaged. Let's talk about it. Welcome, Negronis and Lord, episode 112. T Swift is not on this show very often, but as you know, yesterday, August 26th, she got engaged. She threw it on Instagram, as anyone would do. We were speculating it was fucking ripping in the beginning. Ripping. 10 million likes in a couple of hours. And I thought yesterday that she had a really good chance of breaking the record of 74 million likes by Messi. Woke up this morning and I feel she is not going to break that. We are about 24 hours in. We're at 31.1 million likes. Folks, she's not going to get there. This is one record that T Swift will not break this year. I assume between most liked Instagram post and highest grossing tour of all time, you would take highest grossing tour of all time, at least I would. It's interesting. I wonder how these kind of like, white Nova events, what they do to the algorithm. It did not show up in my feed, isn't hugely surprising, but something with this many views, it must have gotten pushed decently far outside of her algorithm, I would assume, but it didn't show up in my feed. Did it show up in yours? If you don't follow T Swift and you didn't seek this post out, will you tell me if it showed up for you? Because I'm interested in that. And I am interested if her turning comments off hurts her performance in the algorithm, because the algorithm is tuned largely to engagement. Obviously the likes did really well, but I do wonder if performance slowed because comments are turned off. I know she turned them off after getting harassed for all this snake bullshit, and she hasn't had comments on for a very long time. But I wonder if that hurt her. It didn't matter. Even with comments on, I don't think she was going to beat Messi. Soccer turns out to be hugely popular.
I think I saw 2 or 3 on stories, but I saw it like 8 or 9 times on the reposts.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Every time I opened it, somebody new had reposted it.
Interesting. I did not see any reposts. 2.4 million reposts and 9.8 million shares. Interesting. If I've talked about T Swift on the show, I've probably mentioned I'm not a big fan, but I will say I am very happy for her. She deserves to be happy. She puts up with a lot. I think being that famous would be horrible. I respect the hell out of what she has built. That tour was incredible from just a pure capitalism standpoint. Also, I was in the car with my wife this morning, and she had mentioned that American Eagle dropped a collab with Travis Kelce this morning. I've obviously felt like one that makes a lot of sense, that is shrewd and certainly was planned. I did see today that he proposed 2 weeks ago, like right after the podcast went live. I guess he proposed right after they filmed it or whatever. It doesn't feel as weird that like that proposal happened yesterday and then he drops a True Colors American Eagle collab this morning. But shrewd, go American Eagle. Good job, jumping in the hype there. Why not use a event that is going to have worldwide attention to sell more stuff? I am in no way being snarky. I 1000% support this. Here at Fohr, anytime we can get a brand into an influencer's life announcement, ooh, I'm having a baby, boom. If I can get a sponsored post and an engagement post, like absolutely. So if you're planning on announcing that you're pregnant, or if you're getting engaged, if you're getting married, if you're buying a new house, anything, drop us a line, and maybe there's a brand we can fit you with, because as I said, we want to be right there with you, supporting you and your success. Your success is our success. There's a legitimate question. It feels harder than ever in 2025 to grow following on Instagram and social in general. Experts say the same. Thread is full of creators complaining about lower views and slower growth. Is this something brands are aware of, and does Fohr take it into consideration when selecting creators they work with? Great question. Super frustrating, very difficult out there. Let me answer this in a few different ways. One, most tactically, do we look at your growth rate when selecting? Absolutely. We look for fast growth rates. We have a filter on the platform that actually lets us filter by growth rate. A fast growing account is an incredible way for us to see that somebody is doing something really special. because it is so hard to grow. The industry could grow, and at the same time, it gets harder for the individual to be successful in that industry. For us in the technology we have, we can look through the 350,000 creators on the platform, and we can look for, the top 500 who are growing the fastest, and we can work with those people. And it is very, very rare to be growing quickly. That said, we absolutely work with creators that are not growing. We work with creators that are probably shrinking, like me. A fast-growing account will absolutely help you get more jobs with Fohr. An account that isn't growing isn't going to stop you from working with us, if that makes sense. This allows me to talk about something I bring up a lot here, which is accountability. I see a lot of these complaints on threads, on Twitter, on social. I understand the frustration, putting all the time in, but we do have people on Fohr that are growing really quickly. I see it every day. Fohr has had good years and we've had less good years. There's often things that I can point to that are happening in the world, maybe that could explain maybe why we didn't have as good of a year as we wanted. In that same year, there were probably competitors who did really, really well. So why in the same exact market, given the same set of circumstances, is somebody out executing you? And that should be the thing you focus on. And it's a harder thing to focus on, but it's so important. I think if you're out there and you feel like you're just getting ambivalence back, you got to change it up. You got to try something different. And I was in the car with my wife this morning, and she's listening to the Gwyneth Paltrow biography that just came out. It was talking about her launching Goop. And she launched with this quote that she said, "My life is good because I'm not passive." Whatever you think of Gwen, I mean, she's crazy. I think she's fantastic. She's just total original. She had lived this crazy privileged lifestyle. She had incredible taste. She had opinions that were really strong. She wasn't afraid to share those opinions. And they were going back and they were reading, they were sharing some of the press of when this thing launched. And it was just vitriol. Everyone was just like, this woman's a joke. She's totally out of touch. What is she doing? She's giving up her acting career to start a newsletter. But there was a big reaction. She was pissing a lot of people off, but then also she got 125,000 newsletter subscribers in a month or something. And this was in 2008, it was hard. You got to remember, you have to try and create a reaction. One of our favorite, personal favorite follows, Noah Kalina.
Shout out
Noah. I want to just pull this Noah post up real quick because I'm interested. So Noah did this post where he calls his dad, who's a psychiatrist, and he talks to him about creative burnout or whatever. This post did quite well. His reels generally get 5,000 to 10,000 views. This one got 60,000, give or take. But it's a piece of content I really remember, as it was so different. I always enjoy his content, but he did something quite unique. And you can see it in the comments, people really liked it and it felt different. That's what you have to go for. That's a really powerful mindset shift. I just finished this book along that line called The Score Takes Care of Itself. If you implement the system, if you believe in what you're doing and you strive for greatness, the wins will come. But if you just are focused on the wins and you're trying to figure out how to get the wins, they're less likely to come. So I would encourage you, to refocus that energy. It is important to hold yourself to a standard and say, this is not good enough. Nobody's going to hand you the fucking life that you want. You have to go get it. That's a pep talk for myself as much as it is for y'all. I am very hard on myself. It doesn't always lead to a hugely joyful life. For an achievement-oriented person, for somebody that has big goals, I think it's super important to have that accountability. So, as always, while I cannot make your content better, while I cannot make you go viral, while I cannot hand you the followers, I can answer some questions. Always send them through, ask the questions, we'll answer them. We'll see you next week. My proposal was much better than Taylor Swift's. I mean, that's not even a fucking question. Yeah, I wasn't wearing shorts. I mean, listen, the whole proposal, I'm sure I talked about it on another episode, but we can maybe link to the post or something that explains it all. It's too long to explain in an outro how good it was and how thoughtful it was. Aaron helped me. We shut down the entire Lincoln Center fountain and had it all to ourselves. And I slow danced with my wife in front of the fountain to our song. And then I hit the knee, and then we went to Bemelman's, and there was 15 of our friends at Bemelman's, and we closed it down that night, and then went on a engagement moon, which is important. We went to Italy the next day. So I think I smashed it.